AquarianRadio.com.
Aloha, this is Enki. You know me as Aquarius, and this is our age, the Sata Yuga. Time to celebrate with us. We have programs on all chakra tantra, love styles and relationship choices, counseling strategies and techniques that you can use at home. We have extraterrestrial radio where we deal with alienology, paranormal people, and we have an experiencers network. We have a section called Ancient Aliens, and the programs therein are Enki Speaks, Nimma, the Mother of Humanity, has her program, and we revise ancient anthropology. And most important of all, we have peace paradigms, because this is the age of peace. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions. Golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberation.
This is Enki.
It is I who 300,000 years ago created your race, and 200,000 years ago, it was a lot of fun, made it even better with some of the pretty girls. And it is I who saved you from the flood, and it is I and my beloved Nimma and my son Ningashiga Thoth who are here to help you overcome my runaway son Marduk, or Allah, my brother Enlil, or Yahweh, and free yourself from all the supposed gods and recognize your own great potential. You have much to teach us, and we, Anunnaki, those of us from Nibiru, welcome full partnership.
And here are your hosts, Janet and Dr. Sasha Lesson.
Aloha and welcome to Aquarian Radio on AquarianRadio.com. Excuse me. Today is an episode of Enki Speaks, and the website for Enki Speaks is Enki, E-N-K-I, Speaks, S-P-E-A-K-S.com, EnkiSpeaks.com. Today's show is Extraterrestrial Landing Platform in Baalbek, Lebanon. And the show, written today by Dr. Lesson, is based on the work of our late great teacher, Zechariah Sitchin. And here is Dr. Lesson. Take it away, dear.
Some 400,000 years ago, long before Chief Scientist Enki created us adapted Nibiran Anunnaki, that's what we were. These people from Nibiru came and they needed a slave race, since they took their own genome and put a few proto-Neanderthal genes and some copper and some clay in it, and that's how we got here. But way before that ever happened, Enlil, that was the commander, he ordered that a landing platform be built at Baalbek in Lebanon. So, and this is even after Enki and the Chief Medical Officer Nimma and the geneticist Ningishita, then 300,000 years ago, made the first version of us mine workers. Well, after 200,000 years ago, Enki kept getting into sex with the daughters of the adapted humans he created, and he created what he thought was superior earthlings. And at this time, control of Baalbek, this landing platform, became absolutely critical for Enlil to hold on to this, because he was getting pushed on by Enki's son, Marduk. And Marduk, as you'll see, was a prince that he thought he should have been king of Nibiru as well as a ruler on earth. And here, Anu's son, the legal heir, Enlil, was crowding him. So, to sort of put this in perspective, Ninurta, who was Enlil's heir and his champion, executed the Mars base commander, and that was a guy named Anzu, because Anzu had seized the mission control. So Enlil decided maybe he could co-op Marduk, get him to work for him. So he appointed Marduk as commander of Mars. Well, while Marduk was on Mars, he got a real strong alliance going with the commander of the astronaut corps there, and with the regular guys up there. And the leader of the name of the astronauts at Mars base was Shamgaz. And so he and Marduk were palling along, and they planned how they were going to organize the astronauts and the Earthlings and overthrow Enlil, the commander. So then a crossing of Nibiru, where it came close to Earth, destroyed the Martian surface, ruined the base, ruined the atmosphere. So then Marduk returned to Earth. He didn't have a job, but he had a lot of political stuff to do. The first thing he did is he said he was going to marry Sarpanit. Sarpanit was the daughter of one of Enki's half-breeds, a guy named Erkimine.
I think it's Enkimi.
That's nice. I like that way.
Enkimi. Okay.
If there's any ancient Sumerians out there, please let me know the right pronunciation.
Tell us how to pronounce these things. We're making it up. Marduk's mother, Damkina, warned him, if you marry Sarpanit to Nibiru with your spouse, you would never go. So she said to Nibiru with his spouse, he would never go. His princely rights on Nibiru he forever will forsake. To this Marduk with a bitter laugh responded, my rights on Nibiru are non-existent. Even on earth my rights as firstborn have been trampled by Enlil and Ninurta. Marduk would marry Sarpanit and ally with the Earthlings. He'd wield them as weapons. With them he'd master Earth. Then he'd master Nibiru, his rightful kingdom, as well. Enlil sent to Anu on Nibiru via communications, the Marduk-Sarpanit union forbid. But Anu and his counselors ruled. On Nibiru, Adapa, the maiden's progenitor, could not stay. Therefore, to return to Nibiru with her, Marduk must forever be barred. Marduk marry can, but on Nibiru a prince he shall no more be.
In 3450 BC, Enlil said, okay, Marduk and Sarpanit, you can marry. King Anu says you can marry. But, after the ceremony, we'll let you have it at Eridu. But after that, you go down to Enki's place in Africa. And take care. You can, your fief will be Egypt. But get out of Mesopotamia. Well, a great multitude of civilized earthlings, this is a quote, in Eridu assembled. Young Igigi astronauts from Mars in great numbers came. Inanna, Enlil's granddaughter, flirted with Enki's son Dumuzi, oblivious that the Igigi planned to seize power for Marduk. Then, 200 Igigi astronauts occupied the landing platform at Eridu. They mixed with the Earthlings and the Nibiran expedition people, and they came to watch the wedding.
Alrighty, so the astronauts took the women back to Lebanon and into a stronghold, the place they made. Shamgaz, their leader, radioed...
Well, it seems to have cut out the paragraph, but anyway, what happened is, as soon as they wed, the astronauts grabbed at least one woman that they desired and took them off. It seems to have got skipped.
Oh, yeah, somehow that's... I see, yeah. So then we start up. The astronauts took the women back to Lebanon. So this is the rape of the Sabine women.
That's a later Roman kind of, or Howard Keel, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers type version.
Right. So the astronauts took the women back to Lebanon and into a stronghold, the place they made. Shamgaz, their leader, radioed Enlil, bless our earthling marriages, or by fire all on earth shall we destroy. Excuse me. Marduk, their commander, demanded Enlil stop calling the Igigi captive unions abductions and ratify them as marriages. Enlil fumed but didn't press the issue. Things against Marduk and his earthlings was Enlil plotting. Marduk settled some of the Igigi and the families they created, which are now called children of the rocket ships, and they took them to Babylon, and he and Sarpanit stayed with other Igigi Adapite families in Lebanon. By 100,000 years ago, some of these children of the rocket ships settled in the far eastlands, lands of high mountains.
The launch tower that the Anunnaki, those who came down from the skies, built at Baalbek, Lebanon, was there for their gold mining expedition. And it was basically this great, big, flat platform with gigantic rocks. It was 4,000 feet above sea level, and it was surrounded by a wall. Now, this platform was built without mortar, and this is before the flood of 13,000 years ago. Baalbek's enclosed square was 5 million square feet. It was 2,500 feet long and rose stage after stage to incredible heights. It was on a really great big stone platform. The massive stones formed an enclosure that surrounded a cavity, a hollow within which the rocket about to be launched rested. The encompassing walls were multi-layered, rising in stages so that the surfacing people could get to different parts of the rocket ship, its payload, and its command module. Arriving rocket ships landed on the stone platform that adjoined the launch tower. Then they'd be put in place, and they moved these gigantic rocket ships the same way as they moved the stones, which is a great mystery. Baalbek, of course, was incorporated into the post-Diluvian landing corridor of the Anunnaki when they planned a spaceport in the Sinai to replace the one in Mesopotamia wiped out by the deluge. And everything else got washed away, but this platform at Baalbek stayed. It was still there, and 13,000 years ago. The Anunnaki ran a line from the peaks of Ararat through Baalbek and extended to Giza, where they built the pyramids. It was their line of sight for landings. They placed the Great Pyramid and the anchor in Sinai, and that end was where the landing corridor was, and that's where they landed, and it was equidistant from Baalbek, right in the middle.
Baalbek included stone blocks of incredible size, precisely cut and placed, including 3 colossal stone blocks that are the largest in the world, the Trilithon. Okay, there's Trilithon. Okay. The stone blocks that made the Trilithon weigh more than 1,100 tons each and are placed upon older, immense stone blocks over 60 feet long, with sides of 14 to 12 feet, cut to have a slanting face that weighs 500 tons each. There is even now no man-made machine, no crane, vehicle, or mechanism that can lift such a weight of 1,000 to 1,200 tons, to say nothing of carrying such an immense object over valley and mountainside and placing each slab in its precise position many feet above the ground. There are no traces of any roadway, causeway, ramps, or other earthworks that could suggest hauling these megaliths from their quarry, which is several miles away. The stone blocks that comprise the platform are so tightly put together that no one has been able to penetrate it and study the chambers, tunnels, caverns, and substructures hidden beneath, though Arabs did penetrate a 460 feet long tunnel at the southeast corner of the platform. They proceeded through a long vaulted passage like a railway tunnel under the grate in total darkness, broken by green lights from puzzling laced windows.
The Nibirans not only lifted and placed such colossal stone blocks, but they carried them from the quarry several thousand miles away. And you can see all these on our website.
Is it 1,000 or just miles away?
Does it say 1,000?
No, I think it's just miles away.
A quarry several miles away.
Yes.
The quarry has been located, and in it, you'll see, one of these colossal stone blocks wasn't totally completed. It's just partially attached right to the native rock, and you can see our teacher, Zechariah Sitchin, in his class right there. The size of these, the landing platform blocks, which is under the Roman temple of Jupiter, that's what the stone is, the same size as those. These great big stones that they move through the air, and we have a whole bunch of programs on how they move these things. The landing platform survived the deluge, as we said, of 13,000 years ago. Enlil rebuilt and controlled it until Ninurta and Marduk's brother Nergal accidentally radiated Lebanon in 2024 BC. Then the Enlilites left Lebanon to Marduk, and the history rolls on.
All right, thank you for joining us today. So we do have a special announcement. Anunnaki Legacy of the Gods is done. It's at the publishers. It's getting reviewed and should be out soon. In one way or the other. If the publisher, doesn't do it, we will. But that's done. It's done. And do buy our existing book, Anunnaki Gods No More, because it might take a few months before it's finally released, but we have finished writing the book. All this can be seen on two of our websites, Aquarian Radio at aquarianradio.com. We have all of our archives of this and other shows, and EnkiSpeaks.com, ENKISPEAKS.com has all these articles and pictures and YouTubes that Dr. Lesson's been compiling for your perusal and review, and we would appreciate your feedback. And thank you for joining us today. Any final words?
So this is the middle of, we're always in the middle of the story. Enki said, the past, the future shall be. And of course, there's all these different interpretations of, are we going to do the same thing? Is this another yuga, another cycle? Or does it mean that they've really come from the future and they've come back to us? And it's a lot of fun. But just think about that. Is it true that the past, the future shall be?
Aloha, love, and blessings from Maui, Hawaii. Thanks for joining us today on Aquarian Radio. We broadcast daily, and our schedule is on aquarianradio.com. Listen live by calling 646-649-0893, or you can listen live by calling 646-649-0893, or listen to our archives on aquarianradio.com. Join us again soon, and do tell your friends the age of Aquarius and the paradigm of peace is now.
Aloha. This is Enki. You know me as Aquarius. And this is our age, the Sata Yuga. Time to celebrate with us. We have programs on all chakra tantra, love styles and relationship choices, counseling strategies and techniques that you can use at home. We have extraterrestrial radio where we deal with alienology, paranormal people, and we have an experiencers network. We have a section called Ancient Aliens, and the programs therein are Enki Speaks, Nimma, the Mother of Humanity, has her program, and we revise ancient anthropology. And most important of all, we have peace paradigms, because this is the age of peace. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions. Golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberation.
And this has been another episode here at aquarianradio.com.
aquarianradio.com.